So a while back, I asked people to submit questions for an Ask the Guru episode. And that might be a lame idea for an episode. I don't know if anybody's going to be interested in it. But I did get a new Vane shirt today, and I have it on. So let's give it a whirl and see what the fuck happens. And if this bombs, we're never doing it again.
The hair metal guru, from Warren to Crew. The hair metal guru, never forget Charlie too.
Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. And yes, today it's the first time I'm doing an Ask the Guru episode. And I told people, hey, you can ask whatever you want. If you want to ask about the military, if you want to ask, I've talked about my sobriety, if you want to ask about music, anything. So I got a bunch of great questions. I didn't use them all because sometimes sometimes the questions were, maybe they were similar to what other people asked, or maybe they were just fucking with me and asking a question that they didn't really intend to be answered. So anyway, I picked a group and I'm going to get into them. But hey, first, before we get into it, like, subscribe, what the hell, ring the bell. And you have the opportunity to become a member, and it costs a few bucks depending on the level that you choose. But you get first response to comments, you get early access to videos, and this video will be released for at least a day to my members before it goes out to the general public. So anyway, and no worries if you don't want to. I get it. Like, money's short, but if you want to support the channel, that's a way to do it, and I truly appreciate the members who do that. Thank you so much. You are the people who make the Guru go. Hey, follow me also on X at Hair Metal Guru. Come join the conversation. There's a ton of us who talk hair metal there. So let's get into the questions that people submitted for the first Ask the Guru episode. And if this bombs, we're never doing it again. Okay, question number 1. Jesus, some kind of serious. What is the best advice you ever received? And I'm not going to share the people who said them, maybe I should, but I'm just going to leave names out of it. But what is the best advice you ever received? And what I think is the best advice I ever got, and it probably came from my brother, was a good idea is a good idea, even if it's scary. Most of the greatest shit that ever happened to me came about when I made a decision that scared the shit out of me. Joining the military in January of '93 was scary as shit. It's one of the smartest things I ever did. Like, I don't know what my life would be like if I had never been a soldier. Going to Iraq. Okay, they made me. It's not like I had an option. But I went, and I'm glad I did, because it was a life-changing event. And when I got home from Iraq, I made another scary fucking decision, and that was to quit drinking. And, it was scary to think about life without that. And definitely that's the smartest thing I ever did, because there's no way I'd be here doing this shit if I was still drinking. Okay. And that was in the summer. That was July 4th, 2004, my very own Independence Day. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to do another scary thing, which was going back to college when I was 31 years old in August of 2004. I lived in the dorms for 2 years, with all the kids. I was a fucking RA. And so anyway, shit that is smart but is scary, just do it. Don't avoid it. Okay? So that's the best advice I ever got is do those things that you should, even when they scare the shit out of you. Okay? All right. Next question. Okay. What are your thoughts on Mr. Big, older and newer material? I'll be honest. I'm not a big Mr. Big fan. I never got into bands that were like overly talented. And Mr. Big is super fucking talented. I always liked the simple 3 chords and the truth shit. I never got into Yngwie Malmsteen, and not that Mr. Big is like that. And I can recognize that they're really good at what they do, but there's just so many notes going on that it loses my attention. So did I like shit? I liked Green Tinted 60s Mind. I liked To Be With You, kind of. I probably like Just Take My Heart better than To Be With You. But otherwise, so I haven't listened to the newer Mr. Big shit, and I probably should. And I feel bad saying it because I know they're a great band, but I'm just not a big Mr. Big fan. Okay, sorry. It's the truth. Okay, next. Ooh, here's a good one. What are the tours that you wish you had seen in your life? And here are some. 1989, Bon Jovi and Skid Row. Fuck. I mean, 1989, Aerosmith and Skid Row. I would have given anything to see Skid Row on that first tour, but especially the Bon Jovi one first. You know, they're just at New Jersey. I love New Jersey. And the album before that, Slippery When Wet, two of my favorite albums of all time. And so I would have given anything to see that. Rat with Poison opening in 87. Oh, would have loved to have seen that. And I could pick a ton where, you know, I'd love to see a band before they blew up. Not a tour, but I would give anything to fucking go back in time and see Kiss in 1974 before people knew that they were going to be like one of the biggest bands of the 70s. Here's a couple more. And I didn't write down very many notes, but I wrote down a couple things. The 1992, I think it was 92, Babylon AD, Roxy Blue, and Wild Side tour. Oh, fuck. Oh, I wish I would have seen that. Geez, I love all three of those bands, all three of them. Their careers didn't turn out the way they should have, but all three are great. So that would have been a kick-ass tour. I could have seen this because it came to Fargo, and I don't know why I didn't. You know, I went to high school about 40 miles away in a really small town. Most of my friends weren't driving into Fargo to go see rock concerts, and I was going to go on my own. So Rat, Great White, and Warrant in 1989, and I heard Warrant just blew everybody away, and then they went to a local rock club and partied afterwards. I would have loved to have seen that. Cinderella, Bullet Boys, and Winger in 1989 would have been epic. And the last one, and I'm sure there's a ton more. Okay, but the 1989 Moscow, the Make a Difference Foundation with Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, Skid Row, Cinderella, Ozzy, Gorky Park. Who am I missing? Isn't there somebody else? Anyway, that would have been fucking epic. Okay, so those are some tours that I wish I had seen. Okay, what do we got next? Your favorite newish bands. And so I really like Crash Diet, The Cruel Intentions, that has Lizzie Devine from Veins of Jenna, and fucking my current favorite song from a newer artist is Sunrise Over Sunset by The Cruel Intentions. Bullet from, probably most of these bands are from Sweden. Bullet, I don't know if they have an AC/DC sound, but I think his name is Hell Hofer. Fucking what an original vocalist. I really like Crazy Licks, and I really like Hardcore Superstar. But somebody added this. I don't listen to those. I've really gotten into punk rock, so I spend a lot of time listening to punk rock lately. And so somebody asked me some of my favorite punk bands, and here are some bands that I've been listening to over the last few years. Nothington is a San Francisco punk band. Now I'm gonna forget the name of their albums because it's not sitting in front of me. Let me open up my iTunes, my Apple Music. and see what I can, because now I'm going to feel like a dipshit if I don't tell you the name of some of those albums. All In from 2007. Oh. And shit, there's a song on there called This Time Last Year. I actually have it tattooed on the back of my neck. Listen to the Where I Stand on that album. Bottom Line. Something New. Sellout. Oh, the album is amazing. And Roads, Bridges, and Ruins from 2009. Check out Best for Me and Sleep Tight. Shit, I have Sleep Tight tattooed on my arm. That's an amazing album. From Canada, a band called The Creeps, and check out their album Beneath the Pines. They're kind of more, they're not really punk, though they kind of have some punk parts, kind of pop rock in a way, but some punky elements. Beneath the Pines, amazing album. There's a band from Minneapolis called The Right Here. Check out their album Leaving for a Reason. Oh shit, it's amazing. And they just put out a new one as well called Northern Inn, I think. And I love Blink 182. There's a punk band that I really like, but I'm trying not to just tell you shit that you already know. What else? Give me 1 second. And I will give you a few more. The Copyrights from Chicago. Holy shit, check out their album North Sentinel Island. Amazing. Fire in the Radio. Check out their album Monuments. Love them. There's a band called Iron Chick. I like their album The Constant One. Also from Minneapolis, Banner Pilot, Heartbeats Pacific. Oh, that album is amazing. If you can't tell, I love this shit. And this is where a lot of my listening time goes to. So I do like crazy licks in those bands, and I probably should spend more time with them, but I listen to a lot of this punk rock now. What else am I missing? Copyrights, I said that. Shit. Oh, the Copyrights, check out their album Report. Oh, fuck. So there are some newer punk bands that I am really into. Okay, what else do we got? Somebody said, what are your thoughts on the Wicked Sensation album by Lynch Mob? I probably need to revisit, but I never liked the song Wicked Sensation. So then I never, and I think I've listened to other shit, and I just wasn't grabbed by it. So, and then I know Lynch Mob had a fucking song that had a bunch of horns in it. I don't even remember which one it was, but I was like, what the fuck is this? So I never got into Lynch Mob, and I know I probably should be. Okay. Okay, I already kind of answered that. Tawny Katane or Bobby Brown? Bobby Brown. Especially like in the Once Bitten Twice Shy video or the Cherry Pie video. Holy shit. She rates a 3 on my finger scale. That means I cut off 3 of my fingers to bang her. So yes, Bobby Brown. Mariah, who is on the channel frequently, asked this, and this is probably a good idea for a video, but I told her I'd answer it, and maybe there could be a video where we expand on it with other people. What's a band you feel like you should be a bigger fan of, but just aren't? Van Halen. I mean, I really like Van Halen, but, you know, I don't sit and spend a bunch of time. I feel like they should be my favorite band of all time. There's what I mean, is I like Van Halen. I can listen to their shit, but am I nuts about them? Like Brian from the Hairband Basement? No, I don't really revisit them very much. You know, they come on, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's good. But I'm just not the fan that I think I should be, because I've said, I think they're one of the biggest influences on hair metal ever. You know, them and Motley Crue, but it started with Van Halen. I like Van Halen, but I feel like I should be a much bigger fan. Here's some more. Lynch Mob, I just said. TNT. And here's where I'm going to give you 3 bands, and all 3 of them have the same reason why I don't think I'm as big a fan as I should be. TNT, Queensryche, and Striper. And you're going to flip when you hear why. I don't really care for the vocals. And I know they're good singers. But sometimes good singers, I don't really, I like the grit. And these guys have like nice and pretty voices. I love the song To Hell with the Devil. I like Silent Lucidity is a great ballad. Haven't really heard anything from TNT that I really like. And some people are like, fucking hey man, you gotta like TNT. I just don't really care for TNT. So there are some bands that I feel like I should be a bigger fan of, but I'm not. Okay. What is your favorite hard rock or metal band from the years 1969 to 1976? And your favorite album from that band? It's Kiss. I mean, there are other bands that I love from that, but I love Kiss. And between that period, 1976, shit, I think Love Gun came out in 77. That may be my favorite Kiss album. But the debut from 1974, shit, even at the end of their career, they were still playing like 5 songs from that. Nothing to Lose, Strutter, Deuce. What else? And Destroyer with Beth. Shout It Out Loud is on that. King of the Nighttime World. God of Thunder. Okay, that's Detroit Rock City. Fuck. So yes, I love Kiss. And I love old Kiss. And I love 80s Kiss. And the album Monster sucked. Carnival of Souls sucked. But shit, outside of that, I'm basically love almost everything they did. The Elder is kind of shit too. Okay. All right. What's my most prized possession that you have music related? Shit. Well, here, I'll kind of show you. So this wall is where I have my favorite shit. So these are all original, and this is where I work. So you'll see like magazines. This is where I like cut out ads and frame shit. So tons of magazines. So it's kind of a mess, but this is like where I put my pride and joy. So let's start over here. Hanoi Rocks for Malibu Beach. That's the vinyl cover. Album flat for Ultraphobic, Dirty Looks. Hanoi Rocks. Look, original ad for Tom Petty Breakdown. Original ad for Beth. For Alive. For The Dark Side of the Moon from 1973. I know this is covered up. For when Look What the Cat Dragged In went gold. Creatures of the Night. Bon Jovi. Kiss Harder Than Hell. Pyromania. Highway to Hell. Love Gun. Cinderella's Night Songs. Some Kiss, the first Foreigner album. That's original vinyl for Don't Stop Believin'. Original 7-inch vinyl for Sleazebees, Stranger Than Paradise. Picture disc for Appetite for Destruction. This is an ad for when Appetite went gold. So right when it was starting to kind of blow up. Back in Black. Girls, Girls, Girls. Dog Eat Dog. That's from 1969 when the first Led Zeppelin album was released. That's from the Hanoi Rocks 1984 tour. Skid Row, this is from 1973 when Skynyrd released their first album. And that's an original 7-inch vinyl for Round and Round. And then I have the Guns N' Roses box, the Locked and Loaded box. I want to do a video on that someday. There's an original ad for the DRFSR album. Here's some more of my posters, and it's going to be all glary, but Sleazebees, Wild Side, Lillian Axe, Skid Row. Warrant, there's the Revenge album. Here, I'll try to... Revenge album. Anyway, Tough. Where the fuck? The Tough poster. Anyway, so I have a ton of shit that is like what I think is my most valuable shit. Okay, now I got to stop this and turn it around. Okay, now I'm back at my computer. So anyway, I have so much framed shit, so that's probably what I consider my most, if can I pick one? I don't know. Maybe the Locked and Loaded box, just because it was the most expensive for me to get. But that Led Zeppelin 1969, that was kind of spendy too. So anyway, hopefully you saw some cool shit there. So that's my most prized possessions. Moving on. Ooh, and I'll say this: Matt C is a member subscriber. So thank you, Matt. What band from the 80s would you have wanted to go on the road with based on Backstage antics, groupies and shit? Okay. I said just a little bit ago that I feel like I should be a bigger fan of Van Halen, but fuck, who wouldn't have wanted to have gone out with Van Halen in the early days when they were partying like crazy, and Dave was bringing groupies and all sorts of crazy shit. So that would have been epic. But I would have loved to have gone out and partied. I did party with Warrant, but that was when the glory days were gone, and it wasn't like the holy fuck, the new crazy experience. You could tell they were kind, like, yeah, they would drink and party, but it wasn't like, like you imagined it being in '89 or on the Cherry Pie tour. That would have been a time to party on the Cherry Pie tour with Firehouse and Trickster. Holy fuck. And by the way, that would have been another concert that I would have wanted to have gone to. And if you've ever seen the Pantera home videos with Dimebag and Daryl, and they're paying like people like $300 to like drink hot sauce, or they're paying like their security guy like $4,000 to eat like a 10-pound cake, and they're just partying like crazy. I'm not a huge Pantera fan, but they look like they would have been fucking fun to party with. So yeah, there's so many bands that I think, it would have been awesome to be on the early Poison tours. Can you imagine the kind of groupies they were? But, I'm older and more mature now, so I shouldn't be talking about wanting to bang groupies and shit. But yes, can I imagine being a young man and wanting to party and do all that crazy shit? Abso-fucking-fruitly. Okay. Oh, when are you and Brian from the Hairband Basement gonna come out and express your undying love for one another? Okay. So I'm gonna say this: Brian and I have a love-hate relationship. I love him. He fucking hates me. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. He's my brother from another mother, but that question I thought was fucking hilarious. From Ryan, who's always on the channel. He says, how big is your shoe size? Look, it's a 17, motherfucker. Take from that what you will. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's a 12. But he's not talking about shoe size. And I'll just quote Bret Michaels. It may not be much, but I have fun with it, okay? All right. What are your favorite Australian hair metal bands? I don't know if this isn't like necessarily hair metal, but some Australian bands that I love. AC/DC, The Angels. There's a ton with Doc Neeson and fuck, now I can't remember the other guy's names in it. But if you don't know about The Angels, you should, what's their album from like 78? Was it Face to Face or something like that? Anyway, they wrote Face the Day, that Great White, did a ton of great songs. And now I'm like struggling to think of them because I'm not prepared for that. But anyway, The Angels. And Jimmy Barnes is a really cool, he's almost kind of like a Bruce Springsteen in a way, but really great solo rock artist, amazing voice. Working Class Man. Check that song out. Holy shit, that song rules. What are some of your favorite bands or artists outside of the hair metal scene? I did that with some of the punk artists, but I loved all the 80s. I loved like Rick Springfield and all that shit. But the Goo Goo Dolls, I really got into in the 90s. What else can I outside of the hair metal scene? Here, let me open up. Don't open that up. Open this up. Here, I'm gonna go to my 25 most played songs on iTunes. Here are some bands that are on it. Nothington, I talked about them. The Methadones are kind of a pop punk band. Guster with the song One Man Wrecking Machine. I kind of talked about all those. And Collective Soul, Semisonic. I like stuff like Billy Joel. The Bodines. Brenda Weiler is a singer-songwriter that was originally from Fargo. I have so many artists that I love that aren't hair metal. So I could make a 3-hour video talking about that kind of shit. But there's a few. And I think we're getting close to the end. Let's see. Best high school memories related to music. For me, I was a big basketball player. Not that I was like, I was maybe good enough to play a small college, but by the time I went to college, I was smoking and drinking, so I never played college basketball. But I used to love road trips and sitting on the bus with my headphones on and just thinking about playing and having stuff like Warrant. I remember listening to Warrant and Skid Row. I really remember listening to Alice Cooper's Trash album. And it was fun to walk into another school's gym, and we had to dress up. So you'd be dressed up, feeling good, looking good, have your headphones on and playing, shit. Hair metal was all I was listening to. And bands like that, Michael Monroe, Not Faking It, Cinderella, and just sitting down and watching the JV game and fucking bopping your head and knowing I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but knowing that you were probably one of the best players in the gym and that everyone was probably watching you and thinking about what you were going to do. And, like I said, again, not that I was good for North Dakota. If I had played in a big state like Cal, I probably would have sucked if I would have played at a huge city. But for North Dakota, where the schools are smaller, I was pretty good. And so I loved. And then when I got to college, I loved to drink. I loved to party. I loved to sit and be drinking with my buddies and playing. In college, I remember listening to DAD, No Fuel for the Pilgrims, a ton. Sleazebees we used to listen to a lot. Wild Side, and we listened to all the big bands, Motley Crue, but I used to love fucking having house parties with all my best college friends and just, drinking some beers and rocking out. It was fucking awesome. So I miss that shit. Unfortunately, I can't drink anymore because it just does not work for me. Okay, a couple more. Favorite military memory. Probably, coming home from basic training. When I left, I was overweight. I was smoking and drinking a lot. And I lost like 30 pounds that summer. And I just felt like a machine when I got done with basic training. It was like I was in such good shape. I was used to waking up early and just kicking ass and felt amazing. And then really, Iraq. My life was falling apart before I went to Iraq. And so, Charlie's here. Yeah, you got big boobies. So Iraq was the first time in years that I was sober and I started to regain my confidence. I went from like 260 pounds to like 200 pounds the year I was in Iraq. And just was like, that was where I knew I did get home and start drinking again, but that's where I got the courage to quit drinking. So Iraq is always a special memory for me because that's where I feel like, I finally figured out who I was and what I had to do. So those are some great memories. The guys from the Rock Resurgence Radio asked, if you had to do it all again, what is the one thing you would change? Some people say, oh, I wouldn't change anything. And I get it, you are who you are and what you went through made you, so I get that. But, I threw away so many years drinking. I had a young daughter and we have we don't have a good relationship because part of it because of my drinking and all the shit that I did, so I wish I could go back and just not, I wish I wasn't an alcoholic. Fuck. I wasted a lot of years and ruined a lot of relationships and hurt a lot of people, including myself, but I hurt a lot of other people, and I regret that. I really do. Okay, somebody asked for my 5 desert island songs. I'll just give you 5 that I came up with off the top of my head. I could have a million more. All My Bridges Are Burning by Warrant. Screwed, Blued, and Tattooed by Sleazebees. Clock Strikes by Wildside. Cold Blood by Kix. And Sleeping My Day Away by DAD. Those are 5 of my favorite songs of all time. Somebody asked, what's your best beat to shag to? Must be somebody from overseas. But I always said when I was younger, there's four bands that are completely will have you making out in no time, and they're not hair metal. REO Speedwagon, Chicago, Journey, and Air Supply. If you can't make out to one of those bands, you just can't make out, okay? Let's see. I'm almost done. Best and worst band you saw live? Well, the best were Warrant when they were on their game in the early 90s. And Kiss. When I saw Kiss in 1990 on the Hot in the Shade tour, fuck, they were amazing. So, but I'd probably say I saw Warrant a ton of times in the mid-90s, and they were always phenomenal. Worst? Maybe David Lee Roth when I saw him with Kiss on the farewell. Now what the fuck is it called? The End of the Road tour. He couldn't move around and he didn't sound good. The band sounded good, but it was just kind of sad seeing him there. So the David Lee Roth concert was probably the worst. Let's see, who's on your Mount Rushmore of hair bands? I would like to make a video on that sometime, so I'll just tell you right off the top of my head, you gotta go Motley Crue, you probably gotta go Poison, and after that, some people are iffy about Def Leppard, but what about Def Leppard and Bon Jovi? So, if you can't include Def Leppard and Bon Jovi, then I maybe go Cinderella. But there's so many different bands, so I know that's a shit answer. But I know you got to have Poison and you got to have Motley Crue on it. After that, you need to decide if, Guns N' Roses or Bon Jovi or Def Leppard can be counted. So, okay. There was a bunch more questions, but those are just some that I picked, and I feel like I went a lot longer than I should have. So, hopefully, if you like this kind of thing and you want me to do something, another one, I don't know how many times you can do that. But anyway, it was just a random idea for a video, Ask the Guru. So there you go. Hey, tell me what you thought of it, and subscribe, what the hell, ring the bell. Charlie's here and she wants to say hi with her big boobies. Say hi. Yeah, you're very nice, you're very pretty, and you're very popular on YouTube, and everybody like you. And you got 8 boobies. That's right. Hey, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you dug that. Until the next video comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care of yourselves.